Here's of Human Transportation, Yogi Steve, ESA, the Electric Scooter Academy, another Voromotors podcast. I have a really interesting guest for you today, a really good one. Really quick intro, though. You know, these are the sponsored podcasts, number 95. If you're going to buy an electric scooter or an electric bike, you got to buy it from Voromotors, whether you're in California, whether you're anywhere in the United States. They also service Hawaii, Alaska. You can get the Tevron line, the InMotion line. The Tevron is what put me in the hospital, by the way. Here's my Tevron hat. Tevron line, InMotion line, eMove Cruiser, eMove Roadrunner, the Roar bike, the Alta Sigma bike, the YOGI Daytona, the new big giant scooter from Voromotors, exclusive with Voromotors. I hope everybody's doing good. Thanks for joining the stream. So today we have my friend Dave Rogers, who is actually my childhood friend, and that's my buddy Andres in the stream. We're going to answer questions from the stream too. If you have questions, put them in the comments. Dave will answer them when we get towards the end of it. Dave, how you doing?
I'm good. It's good to see you. It's good to be on the podcast.
Yeah, I really appreciate you doing this for me. So Dave is my childhood friend. We've known each other since we were 13. Dave is a really talented artist, really successful. Would you say you call yourself mostly a director nowadays?
Director, editor, producer, director and editor, really. Yeah.
Dave has worked on every single show you've watched. A big portion of my audience, I think, is kind of elder millennials and Gen X. So when I tell you The Office, Seinfeld, Parks and Rec, Entourage, he's worked on all of these shows. And more recently, he's working on Upload for Amazon Prime. That is an Amazon show, right, Dave?
Yeah.
And he's also working on The Paper for Peacock, which I think was incredible. I watched all 10 episodes in like 3 days. So the new show, kind of a spinoff of The Office, The Paper. But Dave Rogers, legitimately my childhood friend from high school. So Dave, I think what the viewers want to know is, I never really talked about, I talk about current stuff. What are your memories of meeting each other in high school?
Well, the first time I met you,
you can be honest. Everybody knows I'm a schmuck.
The first time I met Steve was in junior high in Marlboro Middle School, Marlboro, New Jersey. I was introduced to you because you had gone to sleepaway camp with a couple of my friends. Adam Rosen and Brian Glickman and Andy Mandel.
Rest in peace.
And I was introduced to you in the locker room, the gym locker room. I think it was either Adam or Brian said, "Hey, this is Steve Tarter. He punched out Andy Mandel in camp at your sleepaway camp." So that was the first time I had met you. And then it's ironic, we can jump to when you got to LA and you moved in with Andy Mandel, how this all works.
That's crazy. But we'll get to that part of the story. First, let's do high school first.
Yeah, we were all friends, so it was just kind of funny. But then in high school, another friend of mine, Barry Koplik, he was hanging out with you a lot, and I think he worked. You had a comic book store, and he worked at your store, and I was friends with Barry.
I almost forgot that.
Became friendly through association, and then the three of us would hang out, and then we had more buddies hanging out. We had a teen superhero club called Force 5, where you were Shadow and I was Bandit, and I spent a lot of time drawing book covers of our superhero adventures and writing comic book titles for us and stuff. And then we actually I did get you guys to shoot something with me, so that was a lot of fun, shooting a Force 5 teaser for a series. So that was great. We had a lot of fun in high school, and you and I were also into gambling. We used to go to Atlantic City when we were not quite 18 yet, and we were not. You were really into craps, and then so I was, oh, what is this? And then you were reading all the books and gambling and everything, and so I was like, all right, I'll learn. And I remember I built a little, like it was like almost like a trapper keeper type of thing.
We had a craps table. We had a desktop craps table.
It was like I don't even know what you would call it, but it was like a clipboard, but it had stuff in it that you could store papers in, so it had some depth. And then, but I opened it up and I made it into a craps table, and you and I would we would practice, playing craps. And I remember our teacher once, we were in Conscience of Man class, and Mr. Tague said, he looks over and he goes, "Tarter, Rogers, put away the casino." So that was those were some good times in high school. And
I mean, your memory has always been incredible. I mean, I do remember that, but it's like very vague.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For some reason, I seem to remember all these goofy things. Even as I get older, I have trouble remembering more recent stuff, but the old stuff, luckily, is still stays there. So you
It's
know,
in the vault.
it's in the vault. Yeah. I'm trying to think what other things. I mean, we just we had a lot of fun in high school. Our crew, and uh, and then it was time for college. And It was funny. Like I kind of mentioned before, is that you had a baseball card store, Steve's Baseball Cards and Comics, and our friend Barry worked there. And um, and I remember I was going to Ithaca College. I looked at Ithaca College; they had a great filmmaking program, and we had a friend who went there. And so you and I went to visit, and you were like, "Yeah, I love this campus too. This is great." And you applied, and you were worried. You were like, "I don't know if I have the scores or my SATs and everything." And but you interviewed really well, and you had a newspaper article from the news transcript. And I
Yeah, that's what got me in. My interview got
Huh?
me
Yeah,
in.
but I remember this newspaper article was so good because it talked about it was all about you and the baseball card store. And I remember the last line that your mom said. He goes, "Steve loves to hear the sound of that cash register ring." And yeah, you were just always just a such a gung ho entrepreneurial businessman. And that was great. And then and I remember, so you got in. I remember how happy you were. I mean, obviously everybody's happy when they get accepted, but you were like nervous, and then you got accepted, and you went to orientation first to Ithaca College, and then when you came back, you were like, orientation was awesome. You said, when you go there, tell them we want to be put in the same dorm, and if possible, the same floor. And I was like, okay. And then the next thing you know, we get our room assignments, and you and I were in the same room with Chris Calbo. Nice triple, the three of us.
Yep.
We're like, we're gonna kill each other, and we ended up living together all 4 years. In different in the West Tower for 3 years, and then the garden apartment senior year.
Yeah, I remember I remember when they put us together. For some reason, I thought it was like the worst. I don't want to live with Dave. It's okay if he's next door, but I want to make new friends. Meanwhile, without Dave, I wouldn't have any friends in college. I mean, he was my conduit to normalcy. He was very social. But I remember they said, if you want to change your roommate, you got to wait 3 weeks because they know what happens. They probably what happens is people live with that person for 3 weeks and they say, oh, you know what, this is fucking great. We're just going to keep it. Yeah, college with you was I don't even remember going to classes.
It was fun. I mean, we had a lot of fun. I did drag you out a lot of times, but I feel like, especially early on, you were pretty excited. All right, we're going downtown. We're doing this. I remember a couple times some funny things because your birthday was November, and I remember we
The
went to
dugout.
our freshman year. It was like 18 to get into the bars, like 21 to drink or whatever, but 18 to get in. Whereas now it's 21 to get in. And I remember we went to the dugout, which was a classic Ithaca College bar, and we're all getting in. We're showing our ID, and you show your ID, and the guy says, "You're not 18 yet." You're like, "I'll be 18 in 45 days," and he goes, "Come back in 45 days."
I'll never forget that. I mean, even I remember that story. That was a funny one.
Yeah. And then and you talk about sleeping a lot through classes. We all took naps and stuff a lot. But I remember one time there was a lot of stuff going on in the world, and we had a bomb scare. And sometimes they would like shut down. You couldn't go to your dorm. They would evacuate the dorms. We had these two towers. We had at Ithaca College, like on the top of the hill was the West Tower and the East Tower, and the towers dining hall was in between them. And they evacuated the towers, and you had to wait till it was all clear. And so it was like, you just keep busy for whatever the day. And then finally they're like, okay, you can go back to the dorms. And I go up to the dorm, and I put the key in, and I open the door, and you were in there sleeping. You were literally sleeping. I'm like, this is I'm like, dude, we just had a bomb scare, and you're like sleeping. You go like this. You're like, didn't scare me. And then you just rolled back and went back to bed. Like, that was it. I just love that was
I mean,
a classic moment.
I wasn't even like a pot smoker back then either. We were both sober. We had the college experience. We got drunk a couple times, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. We got. I mean,
At least, yeah.
yeah. I had not. You know, I had not really drank in high school. It wasn't really until I got to college that that we like started to, okay, we're drinking beers. I mean, and I remember freshman year, you could walk around campus with beers. It was a wet campus, then they changed it.
Oh
But
wow, I don't remember
yeah,
that. I don't remember that. That's crazy.
and then we had, but remember, then you could drink in the dorms. Like we had our around the world parties and stuff like that, and where everybody. I mean, and you were always like up for this stuff. It was fun. But I remember drinking some stuff. It was like wild turkey, and it was like, oh my god, it would just hit you so hard. Or going downtown and just drinking these kamikazes, which was basically like, I don't know, the sourest lemonade and vodka or something. But you just keep drinking, and everybody would get so drunk. Just but yeah, that was college. I mean, we had a lot of fun.
It feels like the drinking memories were really only like early freshman year when we were trying to feel it out as to whether or not we were going to do. Maybe on your own, in the later years you went out and partied with other friends because you had a giant social network. But I don't really remember drinking other than those first couple of months, experimenting with it. And I don't think either of us really are big drinkers.
I do have photos of you and John Budd, senior year at the garden apartments over the toilet bowl, trying to make yourselves.
Oh, that was senior. I would have. My memory would have said that might have been freshman year, but if it was in the garden
It was the
apartments,
garden
it was
apartment
later, right?
in the bathroom, and I'm there, and Jason Gonzalez is there, our other fourth roommate, and we're all. Yeah, I mean, we would just we did not drink often. I don't want to make it sound like we drank all the time, but we drank occasionally, and we'd have.
Yeah,
But I don't think either of us. I mean, it's not like, I mean, there were some people that's all they did was drink, drink, drink. I think we just did
yeah, yeah.
it a while,
Yeah.
but I feel like
College
that,
was a big drinking experience for people.
Ithaca had, Ithaca had so much going on. I think socially, like we did taekwondo together. We
That's
did,
right.
I was making movies. My film class. You starred in a couple of them. You had acting parts in them. I would always use you, and because you were always so good with karate and stunts and things like that. I'm jumping on the hood of your car. You're driving, and so that was, I mean, that kept us busy. We had the softball team, the Hollywood Knights softball team, and for intramural sports, and just the whole environment, the downtown environment, and everything. And also, it was a time before cell phones and computers, really, like
That's
pre-Mac
right.
computers and PCs where you could really move stuff around. I mean, I was writing scripts for my film classes on a Commodore 64. Do you remember that? Like I'd be
Wow. Of
in the
course. Yeah. Of
dorm.
course. That's
I
that's
had like an old
that's old.
TV monitor, you know. So that was it. And I remember one time,
And
wait, this was classic too. When me and Jim Bates ordered food. We decided to order hot dogs, and we were waiting and waiting. And we're just starving, and finally, I'm like, I go downstairs to the vending machines to get us sodas, so we're going to be ready to eat. And I'm down there, and I look over, and like the candy vending machine is like open, and I come up to our room, and I'm like, guys, the vending machine is wide open, and like in
it's
like
amazing.
0.007 seconds, faster than possibly faster than one of your scooters, you were out the door and at the vending machine, just like we were just like happy Halloween, just loading up bags.
Yeah,
And
I remember I brought a duffel bag, I remember. I
so
thought that was crazy. Imagine this for especially you're like a college kid, like free snacks and shit like that. Unbelievable. And then what did happen after this that Dave wasn't involved with because he's a good guy is then we tried to break into the money part of the machine. So I went down there with the other degenerates. We got the quarters out, but we couldn't get the bills out. But that was I mean, like I said, your memory, I mean, I remember all this stuff, but until you bring it up, it's like gone. But that was freaking unbelievable. I mean, for a college student especially. And then so college was awesome. I was super lucky to go with basically my best friend. We spent all 4 years living together. It was incredible. And then after college, you moved to California, and I thought I was going to stay in New Jersey and just be a New Jersey guy. But after about a year of you, like my best friend, not being there anymore, I was like, "Fuck, I want to move. I'm going to move to California." So tell them about how I moved to California and how that happened.
uh so I had moved out here with our other roommate John Budd, and we showed up, I guess, some summer of '93. We arrived in Los Angeles, and we were living in like West Hollywood, like Beverly Hills adjacent area. And you were still in New Jersey. You had gone to Florida and were working in
That's right.
Florida. And then you would come back to Jersey and you were doing some work. And I think you were at one point you were teaching karate. And
Yeah, I
you were
taught
like,
for a
I
year.
can't take it anymore. I don't know what I want to do. And the last I heard was you were like, I'm going to go out to Vegas with my dad for a vacation. We're going to go gambling for a weekend or something. I was like, okay. And I remember specifically the day. It was January 16th, 1994. I just got home from the grocery store. I'm taking bags of groceries out of the trunk of my car, and all of a sudden I hear Rogers, and I turn my head, and there's you carrying two big like white like I don't know
Garbage bags.
like laundry sacks or something, and you're
They were
like,
they were garbage bags. I've never owned a suitcase in my life.
oh, is
They're just
that what they,
garbage bags.
is that what they were?
Yeah,
And you were
they were
like,
white garbage bags.
and I was stunned to see you, and you're like, and you go, my truck arrives Tuesday, and I was like, holy cow, like, and that was it. You just arrived, and so I remember I was like super excited, and I'm like, where are you living? You're like, I don't know, I'm staying with you guys right now. I was like, all right. So, and I remember we surprised John because John came home, and then we surprised him that you were here, and we stayed up talking and eating and reminiscing, and then finally like, all right, we got to go to bed. John's got a job interview in the morning, and we go to bed at like 4 o'clock, and like 45 minutes later, the Northridge earthquake hits. So it was just like it was, like 50 seconds of intense vibrating, shaking. I mean, huge, huge earthquake. And that was something. And it was like, welcome to LA, Steve. So that was your first
Yeah,
experience.
I'll never forget the earthquake. It was crazy. I remember, was it you or John who was in the hallway and the earthquake, and I crawled over to you and grabbed the leg. I grabbed this. I was like holding on to it. Was it you or John? I don't even
And
remember.
I think it was John. I mean, I scooped up the dog. We had a dog and maybe the cat at the time. Even I don't even know, what animals we had. The rabbit. I can't even. I don't even remember. I know we had. I know I had Bryce. I had Bryce with me, and
Yeah.
but yeah, it was that was a crazy night. And then other people came over. We had the neighbors, like there were other people from Ithaca College and from Marlboro who lived on our street, and so they all came over. And and then John was like, "All right, well, I got to go to bed. I have a job interview in the morning." Meanwhile, he drives in the morning. He gets up at like 8 or 9. He's driving, and he's like, all the lights are out. The 10 is collapsed, and he's like, nobody's open for business.
I mean, that was crazy. The fact that I moved there the day of the freaking quake, and a lot of people have asked me all through the years, like, "Why did you stay?" I was like, "Listen, I wanted to get away from my family so badly. I'd rather stay here with earthquakes than go back to New Jersey." Yeah, that is just an incredible fucking memory. Hey, what's up, Stuart? Stuart says I was born right after the Northridge quake on the 26th. What?
Wow.
This viewer? Oh, he's one of my younger viewers. Stuart Grant, a local guy, but yeah, those are crazy fucking times. I came out here just to play poker. I played for a year and a half, went broke, went back home, worked for my dad, saved up some money,
Well, hold
came
on.
back.
I mean, you were playing some serious poker. I mean, you were going to the casinos. You were going to Oceanside, Commerce, Hollywood Park.
Yeah,
Adam Rosen was driving you to Vegas. You drive. You're like, I need company, so he would drive and then drive back. I remember one time we went to Vegas. It was like me, you, I think Mandel, Adam, Kern. I don't remember, but we get there and you go right to the you go right to the table to play. And I'm
yep.
whatever. I'm playing video poker and hanging out. And then I'm like, all right, are we going to get a room? And you're like, no, here's my keys. Just sleep in the car. Do you remember? We just slept in your Pathfinder. Like, that's how
Yep.
crazy we were. We just slept and then I think we left the next morning. Like, that was it. We just went for the night. It was like, all right. And we
Yeah.
just slept in the truck there. Jeez.
Yeah. I played 24 hour session, a 36-hour session. Poker was a crazy thing. Like, I could just play and play and play for hours. But that shit was a crazy time. I thought it was awesome just showing up without you knowing that I was coming. I knew I could just sleep on your floor. And then I lived across the street from you with Andy Mandel, the kid that I punched.
Yeah, Adam, and Andy lived together, and Kern and Craig Mason were they were still in the. I think Craig was still there. I'm not sure if he had moved out yet to another place. But yeah, we had a good. I mean, it was a
So
good
house
community. We got out a lot too. We did a lot of stuff. We
I
got
mean, you know what they say, like, those were what's whatever Michael Scott's expression about, like, when it's back in the day, if you wish you knew, it was, these are the times or
Oh,
whatever.
Andy, yeah,
Uh,
Andy Bernard says that in the finale. I wish someone told us these are the good old days before you're no longer in them. So
Thank you. That's what I'm. The good old days. I couldn't get
yeah.
the expression. I mean, those really were. It's a $5 donation from Silent but Electric. Dave, I owe you $2.50. You're getting half of that. I know you really need the money, but but thank you, Silent but Electric. That's my friend Michael's always dropping $5 on me. I appreciate it. It helps a lot. Every dollar goes a long way while I'm not working. But yeah, I'm super lucky that my close friends from college live out here. When I was on the Joey Diaz podcast, he said, "Yogi Steve, it's incredible that you got your friends from back east out here and you can see them whenever you want." And I'm super blessed to still have this network. But Dave, how soon after you moved out here did you get your first job in the industry?
I mean, I was out here. Listen. I was a production assistant. I started as a production assistant, and then I was I worked at a post house, like a trailer house. I was a runner. I was a driver, and back then you would deliver tapes and even documents to. I'd go to all the different studios, Fox, Paramount, wherever I was, Disney, all over town. Now it's like you don't even deliver tapes. They're like, hey, the link is up. You can just download or watch, stream the cut. As far as scripts, documents, same thing. You just emailed. It was a different world back then. But I spent a year doing that, and then I was, I just worked various jobs. I always kind of excelled in editing at school. I always loved, as much as I loved filming things, it was always stressful with all the elements, in the world. And then when I could focus on just the footage, me and the machine, I always kind of enjoyed that and found it peaceful and just really creative, a place I could really be creative. And so I kind of pursued editing out here, and I ended up, I was apprentice editing, assistant editing in a few places. I worked at a trailer house. I was doing, sound editing, and then I was cutting. And then I got a call from some buddies from Ithaca, and someone said, "Hey," and this was 90. I want to say this is 95. Someone said, "Hey, Seinfeld, we have a new editor on Seinfeld. We need a new assistant editor. Are you available?" And I was like, "I will be there today." And that was it. I joined on Seinfeld for the last 2 years as an assistant editor. I worked for Skip Collector, who was a great editor. I mean, just amazing, and he taught me so much. And he let me, he taught me, and he let me like cut scenes and give me notes and things like that. And then I was able to cut the clip show, which aired right before the series finale. And I got to use Superman the movie music at the beginning of the beginning
I
of the
remember that.
montage of all the big production things. So that was a lot of fun. And then so that was like 95. And then after that I went to other shows. News Radio was another show. I was assistant editing on that, and I started cutting. And then just various shows until I got a call like, hey, we got a show called The Office, are you interested? Do you want to meet with the executive producer? And so I met with Greg Daniels, and we've been working together ever since.
That's amazing. I mean, The Office. I mean, that's literally like one of all these shows you worked on are the biggest shows ever on television. And by the way, we mentioned Superman. You can see the bust like behind Dave on his thing. Dave is like the number one heterosexual Superman fan on the planet.
I have a lot of. Let me see.
But
I'll try to turn around. I don't know what you'll be able to see, but I have a lot of Superman stuff
got all the
here.
Superman movie posters.
Yeah, I got a lot of
Yeah,
Superman stuff, and just a lot of posters. I don't know exactly what you can see. Oh, and I have some scripts here. Here, you can see some of my. I don't know if you can see this. Here's a Seinfeld signed script,
wow.
an Office signed script, and here's another show I did, the Mindy Project, and here's one I didn't work on, but I'm just a huge fan of the $6 Million Man. So anyway,
Wow, that's pretty cool, man. That is so cool.
wall
So
of scripts.
we do finally have like a little question from my friend Stuart's asking you: is the film industry as bad as people are saying on TikTok? You probably don't even look at TikTok. Is Hollywood really struggling right now? Do you have any commentary on that?
Yeah, I mean it is definitely tough. There's not as many shows being produced, and it's, I mean, not as many things locally. We're hoping tax credits and things like that will be more of an incentive to bring more production back to Los Angeles. But it is tough. I mean, I have a lot of friends or not working, just because there's just less work. There's less jobs. I mean, I think it like really peaked, especially even at the beginning of COVID. There were just so many things being shot, so much content because you had all these streaming sites launching, and so they were all like, everybody was putting shows out for all of the, and movies for all of these different streaming sites. And then it kind of, like a bubble, it starts to retract and retract. All right, we don't need as many, and so that's kind of where we are now. But I feel like like anything, the cream rises to the top. So I think we've gotten some great shows that have come out. I mean, there's just shows. There's great comedies. Everything from like Shrinking to Ted Lasso. Um, Severance. I mean, there's been some great shows that have come out in the last few years. So hopefully, there will be more of that and more productions in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Severance is really good. Severance is fucking trippy. I know you don't
Yeah,
smoke weed, but that's a show. Those writers must have smoked a ton of weed to write that stuff.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely
My friend, my
I love it. I love that whole thing of
when
like,
it,
what is this, and the conspiracy, and just kind of learning new details and little Easter eggs that are planted in things, that you go back and rewatch, like, oh, I missed that.
yeah, yeah. My friend Eddie the Courier's in the chat. He's a real working actor. He was actually on back in the day on Eastbound and Down with Danny
I
McBride.
love Eastbound and
He
Down.
was the kid.
Love,
Like
huh?
it's an amazing show. That's fucking an
Yeah.
awesome show. My buddy Eddie, who's a driver, but also and we talk. I hang out with him a lot when we're doing deliveries.
Mm.
He's a really good guy. He's also saying, yeah, it's a struggle to work out there.
Yeah.
But well, man, I'm super lucky that to have my high school and college friends out here. I feel like that covers almost everything. I don't want to take up too much. I know you're super busy. Every time I hit you up, I know you work mostly out of your home nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, well, when we're in production, like on the paper, we were shooting on the Universal lot. So, I mean, I'd be there on the
Okay.
Universal lot. When I'm editing, I have an edit bay there. When I'm directing or producing, I'm just there all the time. And but then when the
What's
season ends, especially during, this started during the pandemic where we could edit from home remotely, and even like, almost like something like this where I'd be editing and you could see my screen. So if you were a producer, you could, we would see each other, and you would see my screen, and I could play stuff. You go, oh, tighten that up, lose that, and so that's how edit sessions work, and it's just convenience because it's like, a producer he can be at home also. He doesn't have to come in to anywhere, and and then if we want to work in person, then we can now. So it's a little of both. Like I go in sometimes to the offices where we the writers are right now working on season 2 of the paper. But overall, like, I do a lot of work at home. I've been editing also the Office Superfan episodes for the past 5 years, and those have been on Peacock where we put stuff back into the Office, all these deleted scenes
Oh
and
wow.
material no one's ever seen before. So that's been a really fun project, but it spanned over 5 years just because in between we're working on Upload, Space Force, the paper. So, but finally finishing up season 9 now of the Office Superfans.
That's freaking crazy. I wasn't even like really into Peacock until the paper. And then I just watched all 10 episodes and it was so freaking good. I mean, that's a big task to take an old show like that was successful. I mean, it is kind of a spin-off, but it's also kind of totally unique. I mean, it's got Oscar in it,
Yeah.
but it would survive with I think it would survive without Oscar. He didn't need to be on it, but it definitely was a good link, back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely, it's a challenge. That was a challenge, and I'm really happy that the response has been mostly positive because it's I mean, you never know. Like, people really love The Office, and especially I think in the wake of, like, airing on Netflix and Comedy Central, and just over the years, like, it gets bigger. It's gotten bigger because there've been like new people who have discovered it, and I think they really appreciate it because I mean, it is super funny. It's got a lot of heart to it, but it also pushes the envelope in a way where it's not, it's not like cursing or dirty, or it's not rated R, but it's like gets as close as you can, to being inappropriate at times and cringy. And so I think that's why people are, they kind of appreciate that. It's a little risque. And I think to make a spin-off, you know, I feel like there's a lot of times where shows, you do a reboot or a spin-off or a sequel, and they don't go over as well. They're just oh, it's not as good and this and that, and and it's challenging. But I think with this we had just the right amount of balance of like, okay, here's Oscar, and here's the nod to the original series, and there are elements of that, and there are things that you'll find familiar, but so much of it is it's just its own thing. It's its own world. But I think it's I enjoy it. I think it's funny. I think we're finding our legs, just like in season one of The Office. It's like, okay, here's something. Season two very different. So we'll see what season two of The Paper is like now that the writers and the actors kind of have a feel for their characters, and what things work and what things maybe didn't work as well. We'll see.
Yeah, I felt like the first couple seasons of The Office, when I went back to watch them, I was like, these kind of suck. But then obviously, like, by season two, three, and four, it becomes incredible because it's just a fully a character based show. So when does season two when will season two of The Paper come out anyhow?
I don't know if they've announced, but I think, I mean, hopefully it'll come out around the same time that season one came out, which was, I think we started airing in September. So hopefully it'll come
Okay.
out, September next year. It's a good time, like back to school. It's a good time. We are going to be airing on NBC season one. So if you haven't caught it on Peacock, we're going to be airing episodes starting, I think, like in a week and a half. I think November 10th, we're airing the pilot, and then weekly we'll be airing more episodes, so people
Yeah,
can go.
that's really
Yeah,
interesting. I thought that everybody had access to Peacock and everybody would have seen it, but I guess that nothing is bigger than the television platform. Still, it'll be on NBC, and that'll get another huge viewership, I'm sure.
yeah. TV is still king. I think in a lot of ways, but also I think the streaming, it's kind of become like cable, where you were there are all these different channels, and then you were all right. I'll get a bundle, so I'll get HBO and Showtime and
Yeah,
Discovery, and now it's like, okay, how many can you pay for it? I want Disney because I want all the Marvel stuff, and Star Wars, but I also want HBO because it got Curb Your Enthusiasm, and but I also want Apple because it's got, I mean, so there's so many different streaming sites, and then you pay for them all. You know, not everybody wants to pay for everything, I think, is the thing. So
it, it
it adds
yeah,
up.
it adds up, and plus
Yeah,
it's gotten more expensive. It used to be like $8.99 for one, like Hulu, and now it's like $9.99 with ads,
yeah,
$18.99 without ads. And I got Hulu myself just to watch Alien Earth. We were talking about that recently.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was
Great
that's a
show,
really good show.
great show.
That
Yeah, love
that was
Alien.
a really amazing show.
They did such a great job with that. I'm very excited for season two. One of my buddies, one of the guys is Curtis, is a buddy of mine who was an assistant editor on The Office. He's editing on that. He went on to like uh, um, all the Vince Gilligan shows. He was working on Breaking Bad, and then he went on to
Wow.
do Better Call Saul and Fargo. Then he went to Fargo, and so he's been working on Alien Earth. And I had to call him and be like, man, I just love this show. Like they just really had a great tone, just a great tone, and just new things
I
that we
thought,
haven't
yeah, I
seen.
thought it was,
You
yeah,
know,
I thought it was really good. I actually just watched Alien Romulus for the first time on streaming. I saw it in the theaters, and that Alien has really become like one of my favorite science fiction movie series of all time for sure.
yeah, yeah. When it's
So
done
what are you up
right,
to tonight?
it's great. Sorry, what were you saying?
What are you working on? So right, you're working on The Paper right now. Is that what you're working on?
I'm working on the paper. I'm finishing up cut downs of the paper and finishing up the season nine Office super fans. We're almost done. We just have a couple sound mixes and visual effects, so we're just working on that right now. And yeah, then hopefully I'll get a little vacation. Although I got a summons for jury duty, so we'll
Don't
see.
just ignore it. I just ignore it. I always ignore my jury duty summons. And how
I'm
long has it
gonna.
been since
I got it. I
you
got to
used
do
to
my
you used
civic
to go
duty.
to
Huh?
you used to go to Jersey a lot. Like I remember you used to go more than a couple times a year. When was the last time you were home?
I went home. I don't get back as much just from because of work. I was back in I want to say April. I feel like April or May I was back. Maybe it was even June. I think it was June. I mean, I went back unfortunately for a funeral for a few days, and then I kept saying, "Oh, I
Oh,
want to get
sad.
back for the summer," but the paper kept going, and then I was like, "Oh, I'll get back for the fall." I wanted to take my girlfriend to Ithaca. I was like, "Oh, we'll go back." I mean, we'll go back to Jersey, see my parents and friends, and then we'll take a drive for a few days. But I'm like, I'm still just working. I keep waiting to be done. So hopefully next season I'm going to say, "Listen, I'm out at this point. Like that's it. If we're not done, someone else can see this through to the the syndication cuts or whatever we have to do." So,
Yeah,
but
you probably have crazy frequent flyer miles. I mean, at one point you were going home 2, 3 times a year. I do
yeah,
remember
well,
that.
just I mean, I go home usually just the summer. I go home for the summer and Christmas break, Christmas, New Year's, and then maybe it squeeze in another trip if it was Thanksgiving or if it was just like, oh, okay, it's spring break, I'll go home for a week or so. But it was also what it used to be when you worked on television. It was almost like being a teacher. You had summers off, like you worked the
Oh
season and then
yeah,
you had this.
yeah.
And I was like, I don't have to hustle for work because I know a show is going to start in September. So you would finish May, June, and maybe have off June, July, August, and then you'd start shooting again. And so it worked out. I was like, okay, I can get home. There were a couple of times where I went home for like a month or 2 months even. Get, getting home for the summer. It was great. I had a blast. You know, it, yeah,
I'll be okay.
it's nice though. I miss it every time I go back. I'm always, I love it, and Michelle loves it too, which is good. And we say, oh, well, maybe we'll retire somewhere in like Colts Neck or Homedale or one of the beach
Yeah.
towns.
You, re- really, you think you would do that? You would leave the warmth of.
I would like to do both. I mean, in Jersey they have the snowbirds that would go down to Florida for this for the winter. I'm like,
Yeah,
we'll come out here.
I could see you being a snowbird for sure.
We
That's
could
for
fly out
sure.
here and stay here, but we'll see. Everything. Listen, still early in the game, so we'll see. We'll see when this. Together. Mm, Okay. All right. Well, good to talk to you, Steve. As always, you are. You've been one of my best friends forever, and I love watching your your videos on your and on your channel, and I'm just always we always have a great time hanging out, whether it's rocking out to Sammy Hagar and Van Halen music, or just getting a bite to eat
Oh
here and
yeah,
there.
that was
So, you know,
yeah. Dave took me to see Sammy Hagar. Like, it was just last year, right?
yeah,
That
last
was
year.
fucking awesome. That was like one of the best concerts I've ever been to, and ever since then I've been like re-watching, re-listening to Van Halen like more than ever.
You were at the
But
last. You were with me actually at the last ever concert of Van Halen when we saw them October
that was
4th.
crazy, right? At the Hollywood Bowl, right?
Yeah, Hollywood. Well, you and I went. You and I first went to. We saw them that year. Steve Kern got us tickets to Jimmy Kimmel when they played in Hollywood Boulevard. We went to go. We saw them there, and that's where David Lee Roth hit his nose with his. He was spinning his mic
Dude,
stand. But then we saw them at the
it's
Hollywood
fucked up.
Bowl. Huh?
It's crazy how I remember obviously the bowl, but I
Yeah.
don't remember that Hollywood Boulevard show like at all. Like I was actually
I'll
there.
send you some pictures. I'll send you some pictures. But yeah, we were at the Hollywood Bowl that turned out to be the last ever show of Van Halen, October 4th,
Wow.
2015. So you know,
Wow, holy shit, that was a long time. But Dave's still alive, right? Dave Lee Roth is still
David
alive.
Lee Roth is still alive. Everybody's alive still except for Eddie Van Halen. But it's a
Wow.
big shoes, big shoes. So
Yeah,
anyway,
that's sad. All right, Dave. Well, I
all
promise
right.
I'll come see you again. I know I always say I don't like to come to your parties unless I'm bringing a girlfriend. And now that I'm single again, you're probably never going to see me again. I'm just kidding. I'll get
Well, I'm
another
sending out
girlfriend.
the Thanksgiving invitation, so hopefully you'll come and you'll stay. So
Yeah, oh, I won't. That's an inside story. I came to your Thanksgiving party a couple years ago on the scooter, and I don't want to drive at night. And I thought you were going to be having the meal at like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. You didn't really start eating until the end of the day, until the end of the night. And I left. It was ridiculous.
You're like, I gotta go before sunset. I'm like, I bought all this food, but yeah. Well, hopefully
I mean,
you'll come. Maybe John or someone can take you home, or I'll take you home, or shove your
yeah,
scooter into the back of the SUV. So
I'll
yeah.
plan. I'll plan better for it next time. I'll have you guys come pick me up.
Mm.
You about that when Dave signs off. Alrighty, Dave. Again, I really appreciate you giving this. We went a lot longer than I thought. We talked for 40 minutes. It went by in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I still need to do 20 more minutes. I always promise Voromotors I'll do an hour. So all you got to do is sign off, and I'll talk to my fans here.
Okay.
And I'll talk to you soon in person. Okay, buddy?
All right. Good to see you. Love you, buddy. Talk soon.
All right, man. Love you
Bye-bye.
too, man. Take it easy.
Okay.
Sign off. Is my best friend, but I bet you who ask the people around Dave now, 35 years later, many of them think that they're Dave's best friend. So you know the show Everybody Loves Raymond, everybody loves Dave. So Linderman says, awesome seeing two old friends chat, man. Seems like a great, cool interview. Yeah, I mean, Dave's got a lot of cool stories to tell. And let's see here. Eddie the Courier says he's going to look for Dave's name on the screen. Oh, can you hear me? Oh, you can. I'm sorry. Is the sound back? Sleck, how you doing? Yeah, the mustache is coming back. I grow facial hair like super quick. So first I'll grow like a big ass beard, and then I'll turn it into a mustache. But all right, so now it's just us, and I'm gonna bust out my bong, and I want to go for at least an hour, and let's do a bong hit. Yeah, Eddie the Courier says I love stories like these. Eddie, I should next time Dave has an event, I should invite you. You should come and meet him. It's not like he can get you a job or anything, but he's definitely in the industry. Stuart Grand was saying he was born right after the Northridge quake on the 26th. That's crazy. So you were born the day before I got here, the day after I got here. Joe the Toast says, all chat aside, glad to see you're still pumping out vids. Yeah, I have videos coming out. I actually have, I had a friend of mine, he's anonymous, I'm not supposed to say who it is, shoot a DoorDash video on the JCN RetroVolt Pro. So I just finished doing the voiceover and editing that episode, and that's going to be coming out pretty soon. That's going to be a very interesting, definitely cool type of video. And for those of you guys wondering about like the health of my shoulder, I'll be having a surgery middle of November. I don't have the exact date yet, but I think they said November 15th. But I still need to lock it down. But I'm nervous as fuck about this surgery because it's going to be they're going to tear me up. I mean, it's real. I'm really fucking scared about this. But I feel like, I have a good surgeon. He's a really experienced guy. Going to Hollywood Presbyterian, considered a really good hospital. But let me go grab my bong. Let's do a couple bong hits. Let's try to make this last an hour, at least 50 minutes. I'm actually still smoking my my homegrown. I'm still smoking the weed that I grew. Although my friend Chelsea actually gave me a ride to the dispensary. I had like a $80 off coupon to this dispensary that I've been going to for years. So I got like it was really $100 off. I got $200 worth of herb with tax for like $100. It was a really good deal. So thank you, Chelsea, for driving me out there. My local friend. And yeah, I mentioned, that I'm single. Linderman says single again. Uh-oh. Yeah, I talked about it on the stream in a very limited capacity last time that we streamed when I was on the street. I'm not going to be doing any more of those street streams because the signal is just too bad. But yeah, I got dumped. I'm super fucking heartbroken. And, I'm 54, be 55 next month. This is not the first time I've been in a tragic situation with a woman. And I'm very sad, though. Usually when I break up with a woman, we both want to break up. And in this case, I was basically dumped. What can I say? There's nothing you can do about it. Somebody doesn't want to be with you anymore. You just got to move forward. So I'm not going to date anybody for a while. I'm going to take a break. I'm just going to take a break. It's like there's no reason. I'm not going to jump into another relationship. I really just want to. I got to get back in touch with myself, especially since I dislocated my shoulder. Again, I talked about this on the stream last time. A lot of you guys couldn't probably hear it though. I'm definitely going to make some changes. I think I'm going to go back to teaching yoga. I really, really miss teaching yoga. I miss the network that I had from teaching yoga. I mean, I had so many friends. Lex says her loss. I mean, it's an interesting thing. Like, you love somebody when you break up, and I feel more. I'm still like worried about her. I don't want her to be alone. I felt like my, my role in the relationship was just to be there with the person. But I think it's both of our loss. There's nothing you can do about it. It's very hard to make these things last. It seems like 2 or 3 years seems to be my limit for relationships. I know I suck at relationships. I know I've gotten better. I've gotten better at communicating and all things that are important in a relationship. But what can you do if it's not working for the other person? You just got to respect that and move forward. And there's always herb. This thing is dirty though. Let's do a couple hits. Day. I've actually been playing online poker all day, every day. I mean, thank God actually for online poker. I've been down since September 12th, right? So now it's the end of October. About 6 weeks later, I made about $1,200 playing like super low stakes poker, and thank God for that though, because otherwise I don't know what I would do. Like sitting around all day, you can only watch so much television. My mother, God bless her, she's in a retirement community. And my brother says all she does is watch TV all day. I don't want to fall into that trap. I watch TV. I'd like to watch TV like in the evening, later on in the evening. But thank God for online poker. I'm playing on WPT Gold. I will try to stream some of that on here. I mean, it's really hard to get views just for like the podcast, anything related to scooters and DoorDash. I'll tell you this though, I am going back to DoorDash. I know I need to get a safer job, but even if I go back to teaching yoga, focus on building my private training business, I'm still going to do DoorDash at least on the side. I'm still going to do it to make extra money. I mean, when I started doing DoorDash, it was really just for extra money. I wasn't really doing it to make like a full-time income. It kind of became that just because of the channel. But I feel like what I might do is I might buy a gas powered scooter. I'm very like motivated when I see Wilser. Not only is Wilser doing no rest November right now, he's trying to make 10,000 in a month. You can't do that on an electric scooter. So I think I am going to start looking to buying a gas powered scooter and getting an M class license, because I feel like I've always said the killers, the people that make the most money doing deliveries, are the guys on gas powered scooters. So I really want to get out there and see what that's like. I remember driving a Wilser's Ruckus a few years ago. It was a long time ago. I met him at a Hollywood Bowl. We were just hanging out. We did like a little interview thing with each other, and I drove his Ruckus, and it was really cool. So I'm looking at like either a Honda Ruckus or an ADV. I probably should just go right to the ADV. It seems like most of the killer drivers have an ADV like that. It's amazing. In America, there's only a tiny amount of scooters available, gas-powered scooters. If you go to other countries, like scooters they're like, in America, they're frowned upon or something. We're snobs here. Like there's something wrong with you if you drive a scooter. Like it's dorky or nerdy or something, but they're fucking awesome. They're great for getting around, way cheaper than a car. I mean, for $5,000, you can get a top of the line gas powered scooter. And I love working on electric vehicles. I always will. Stuart Grant says, do you think there's any roles? What are you trying to say here? Any roles that would work for me at Voromotors? I have actually kind of casually asked Melvin about that, but they're not even. I don't think they're even in Panorama City anymore. I think they're all the way out in Huntington Beach. They're really far away, and I don't know if I actually want to work in the scooter business. To be honest with you, what I always said was I like just being an affiliate. I like selling a scooter, getting my 3 to 5%, and then I don't have to have anything to do with aftercare. I don't really like the scooter business, and I've said this to Melvin when we had like the pre-podcast. We did one podcast episode out of his office in Panorama City, and I told him very honestly, I don't want to be in the scooter business because I feel like it's just a problem-solving business. These fucking scooters, I love them, but shit goes wrong with them, and for some reason, it's not as simple as if you have a gas-powered vehicle getting it fixed. Like you need to know somebody that has a real special niche of skills. So I don't know if I'd really want to work like at Voromotors. I really want to just continue doing DoorDash, doing YouTube, working on content creation, and going back to teaching yoga. I mean, it's really, I never should have stopped teaching. What happened is I got like cocky. I got like cocky or greedy. I taught yoga since 1999. And then starting to write about COVID, really even a little before COVID, my classes started getting smaller. For 20 years, I taught classes that were like 30 to 75 people. I mean, looking back on it, it's like those were the days. It was really exhilarating. I taught this free yoga class in Runyon Canyon that was just immensely popular. Then, for whatever reason, the classes started getting smaller. When the classes started reaching like 10 or 12 people, my ego didn't like it. I like teaching the big classes. And then COVID hit, and I had trouble even getting people for an outdoor class at COVID. So I just stopped teaching in probably about 2021. It's the last time I taught a class. But I really miss teaching. I know I'm good at it. I miss the network of people from that. And I think if I bring back my class on Saturdays at the park, I could fill it up. The class actually, when I first started doing it 20 plus years ago, 25 years ago, I taught 7 days a week. The first 5 years, I taught 7 days a week, all by myself, every single class. And then I got some great yoga teacher friends of mine to teach for me. My friends Kamala and Siri, that's a man and a woman. They're a couple. They taught Tuesdays and Thursdays. My friend Daniel teaches Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and to this day, he's the only thing holding Runyon Canyon Yoga together. My buddy Daniel still teaches Monday, Wednesday, Friday, this free class. He's a really good, experienced teacher. You get a lot of value out of his class. Bring him a donation. But and I was teaching Saturdays and Sundays for just a long time. I regret giving it up. I know I need to go back to it. I'm probably because I'm feeling isolated and lonely. I never felt lonely in my life. It feels like I don't need to have. I mean, I'm lucky. I do have like quite a few friends, but I don't get to see them that much. I realized that the DoorDash job was really filling a need, to be around people. So I really missed the job, and I'm feeling like super isolated while I wake up. I'm going to have this surgery, and then it's going to be another couple months before I get back out on the road. After that. So I want to start teaching yoga again, so I can have this time where I go out. My students are basically become my friends if they're not my friends already. I want to go back to teaching yoga out there. So I'm going to have the surgery. I'm going to heal up. I'm still going to go back to doing DoorDash. I'm going to still work on my electric vehicles, but I might buy a gas-powered scooter in addition. But I definitely need to go back to teaching yoga. I mean, that was kind of like, that's why I still go by Yogi Steve. People think, I realize that calling yourself yogi, it's like super cringe. But, I put in the time. I taught for like 20 plus years, you know, hundreds and thousands of hours, and I taught for free. I made a little bit of money. I got some donations, but to me, it was a really good thing for myself, for the community. And I'm going to go back to teaching yoga. I really need to go back to it. So probably I'm going to have the surgery in mid-November. Probably come January, I'll start rehab. And then I'm going to start the way I the way I promote the classes. I go up there, I sit in a chair with a sign. I just let people know free yoga Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm just going to teach on Saturday, maybe Saturday and Sunday if it's popular. Alrighty, guys. Well, we did pretty good. Thanks again for my buddy Dave for being on the podcast. I'm surprised that the YouTube algorithm didn't push it more. I know that like a lot of my regular fans aren't even on here, so I know the notifications aren't even going out. But there's nothing you can do about it. People can watch it later. Alrighty, my friends. Thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate your support. Thank you, Stuart. Did I miss anybody in here? Who is that? Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Slick, Electric Rider, Linderman, Eddie the Courier, of course. Michael, Silent but Electric, Joe the Toe, OC Eats, my friend Anthony, Don Scott, my Dualtron Storm owner, James, Mysterio 71, and my buddy Andreas, actually the first person, one of the first persons in the stream. Andreas, my real life friend. I keep telling you this, buddy. You have to email me. FaceTime me. Okay, Litterman says the Honda ADV does look sweet. I'm jealous of your weather right now. Crazy out there, though, right? The yoga is cool. Best of luck with the surgery. Thank you, Linderman. I really appreciate it. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm just scared because I've never had surgery before. So I'm scared. But it is what it is. I'll be okay. Life only moves one direction, and that's forward. All right, on that note, thanks for your support, fellow pioneers. Next podcast, probably on Wednesday. I'm still going to try to get another person to interview. Whether or not YouTube pushes these, I don't even really care. I think this is better than sitting here listening to me talk. All righty, guys. I appreciate your support. See you next time.